All right, so you want to take a deep dive into this NFL quarterback power ranking article from CBS Sports. And, well, I think you definitely came to the right place. This deep dive is going to have some surprises. I mean, even for diehard fans like you. We're talking about who's hot and who's not as we head into Week 16. And trust me, this article goes way beyond just a boring list. It's packed with analysis of each player's recent performance. And it even speculates on where their trajectory seems to be heading.
Yeah, it really gives you a fascinating look at the current pecking order in the NFL. At the most important position, quarterback. And it really shows how quickly things can change in this league.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, who would thought we'd see Jared Goff sitting pretty at number 4? The Lions, they're hardly a powerhouse team. But Goff is really squeezing every ounce of potential out of that offense.
It's a real testament to his resilience. Remember all the talk after he left the Rams? A lot of people thought he was done. But he's proving everyone wrong in Detroit. He's not just managing games, he's elevating the entire offense.
Yeah, he's making the most of what he's got, that's for sure. But before we get too deep into the surprises, let's start at the top. CBS has Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson in a dead heat for the number 1 spot, both with 37 total touchdowns this season.
Not exactly a shock considering their dual threat abilities. But it's still pretty impressive to see those numbers.
For sure. And, for anyone who's not totally familiar with the term dual threat, it basically means these quarterbacks are dangerous, both as passers and runners.
Exactly. They can absolutely dismantle a defense with either their arm or their legs, which is what makes them so difficult to game plan against.
Right. And, they're leading incredibly dynamic offenses. But lurking just behind them at number 3 is Joe Burrow. The Bengals are breaking franchise records left and right with him.
Yeah, he already has 36 passing touchdowns this season. What's impressive about Burrow is his poise under pressure. Even when the pocket collapses around him, he somehow finds a way to make the throw. And that kind of coolness under fire, that's what separates the good quarterbacks from the truly great ones.
Absolutely. And then rounding out the top 5, we have Jordan Love. Now, this is only his second year as a starter, and he's already leapfrogging guys like Mahomes and Herbert. I mean, that's got to make Packers fans feel pretty good about the future.
It does, but it's worth noting that the Packers' offensive line is playing at an incredibly high level this year, and that level of protection can definitely inflate a quarterback's stats.
That's a good point. So it's not just about individual talent. It's about the entire system around the quarterback. Speaking of systems, let's talk about Patrick Mahomes. He's tumbled all the way down to number 11 after that pretty nasty ankle injury a few weeks back.
Yeah, the article really emphasizes how important his mobility is to the Chiefs' success. You just can't underestimate the impact of that injury. Mahomes is known for extending plays, scrambling, making those impossible throws on the run. If he's limited in that department, it changes everything for the Chiefs.
Totally. And then there's Brock Purdy, down at number 12. Now, the article raises this interesting idea that he thrives as a frontrunner, meaning he plays better when his team has a comfortable lead. Do you think that's a fair assessment?
Well, a frontrunner tends to excel when the game script is going their way. They can rely on established play calling, take fewer risks. The article suggests that Purdy might struggle when he's forced to carry the team from behind, to make those clutch plays in those really high-pressure situations.
Interesting. That's definitely going to be interesting to watch as we get deeper into the playoffs. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about some veterans who are quietly putting together solid seasons, like Russell Wilson. Despite some missing pieces on that Steelers offense, he's still at number 13.
Yeah, and what's intriguing about Wilson is that his play really hasn't dipped. Even after losing his top target, George Pickens, a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
He's adapted to a changing roster.
You just what?
Kept the Steelers in contention. That kind of veteran leadership is really invaluable.
Yeah, it's like he's found a new rhythm in Pittsburgh. And then you have Aaron Rodgers all the way down at number 20. Now, the Jets, they aren't exactly setting the world on fire, but he's playing much better than a lot of people expected, especially after that trade.
Yeah, Rodgers' situation really highlights how much team context can influence a quarterback's performance. Even a future Hall of Famer
Right.
can struggle if the pieces around him aren't clicking. It's a reminder that football is a team sport, not just a quarterback competition.
Right. It's not just about the arm. It's about the entire team.
It really is the perfect example of how, in football, the sum can be greater than its parts.
Oh, absolutely. And speaking of players exceeding expectations, we've got to talk about the rookie class this year. They've really been shaking things up, like Michael Penix Jr. debuting at number 24. After being that surprise first-round pick for the Falcons, that's some serious pressure to perform right out of the gate.
I mean, the Falcons obviously saw something special in him, but it's definitely a gamble to throw him into the fire like that. The article mentioned that they were impressed with his ability to read defenses and make quick decisions in the preseason.
So it sounds like they're betting on his mental processing as much as his physical skills. He's not the only rookie making waves, though. You have Caleb Williams and Bryce Young at 22 and 23. Not exactly setting the world on fire, but they're holding their own.
Yeah, it's important to remember that the NFL learning curve is steep,
Mm-hmm.
especially at the quarterback position. These guys were superstars in college. But the pro game is just a completely different beast. The speed, the complexity of the defenses, it takes time to adjust.
Yeah, for sure. And to be fair to them, they've both been thrown into some pretty tough situations. I mean, the Bears and the Panthers aren't exactly known for their offensive firepower. But the article did mention that Young has shown flashes of brilliance, enough to earn another shot next season.
Yeah, what stands out about Young is his accuracy. Even when he's under pressure, he can really thread the needle on those tight throws. The key for him will be developing his pocket presence, learning to navigate the chaos of the NFL pass rush.
Right. It sounds like both he and Ann Williams have the potential to be franchise quarterbacks, but yeah, they definitely need time to develop and the right support system around them. Speaking of potential, though, how about Jaden Daniels in Washington? He's leading the Commanders on a playoff run right now.
Daniels is the perfect example of a quarterback
Yeah.
whose skills translate well to the pro game. He's got that dual threat ability we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
And his athleticism is giving defenses fits.
Yeah, he's super exciting to watch, and his success is a testament to the Commanders' coaching staff, too. They've built a system that plays to his strengths.
Exactly. It's not just about finding talented quarterbacks. It's about putting them in a position to succeed. But, now, while we're celebrating these rising stars, let's not forget about the veterans who are still defying expectations.
You mean like Aaron Rodgers, who's still proving he can sling it, even on a struggling Jets team?
Rodgers is just a master of his craft. He might not have the same mobility as he did in his younger days, but his arm is still elite, and his football IQ is off the charts.
Yeah, he's definitely proving that you can't count out the old guard just yet. And then you have Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh. He's flown under the radar this season, but he's quietly putting up solid numbers.
Yeah.
And leading the Steelers to wins.
Wilson is the epitome of a resilient quarterback. He's been through a lot in his career, faced a lot of criticism, but he's never let it get him down. He's adapted to a new team, a new system, and he's still delivering.
It's inspiring to see a veteran like him find a new chapter in his career. Now, before we move on to the bottom half of the rankings, I'm curious to get your take on Tua Tagovailoa. The article mentions some concerns about his decision-making in clutch moments. Despite having that cannon for an arm,
Yeah, Tua's a really fascinating case study. He's got all the physical tools you could want, but he seems to struggle with the mental aspect of the game, especially in those high-pressure situations. He forces throws, makes questionable decisions, and it often costs his team to read.
so it sounds like he needs to develop that killer instinct, that ability to stay calm and make the right play when the game is on the line.
Exactly. He needs to learn to trust his reads, to go through his progressions, and to not let the pressure get to him. If he can master that, he has the potential to be a truly elite quarterback.
Interesting. And what about Baker Mayfield down in Tampa Bay? He's having a surprisingly good season with the Bucs, but he's always been a bit of a wild card.
Yeah, Mayfield is a gunslinger, always looking for the big play, which can be both exhilarating and frustrating for fans. He's capable of making those highlight reel throws, but he's also prone to making costly mistakes.
Yeah, he's a boomer bust kind of quarterback. You never know what you're going to get from him. But hey, that's what makes him so entertaining to watch, right?
Absolutely. He's unpredictable, and that keeps defenses guessing. But for the Bucs to be successful, he'll need to find a balance between making those big plays and avoiding those back-breaking turnovers.
Yeah, it's a tightrope walk for a quarterback like him. Now, as we start to look at the quarterbacks who are fighting for their futures in the league, things get even more interesting.
Yeah, and this is where we really see the separation between those who can adapt and thrive in the NFL and those who might be better suited for a different path.
Right. And it's not always about raw talent. It's about mental toughness,
Right.
work ethic, and the ability to learn from your mistakes.
It's a constant process of evaluation and improvement. The NFL is a cutthroat business, and only the strongest survive.
Okay, so let's talk about Aiden O'Connell. He's set to reclaim his starting position for the Raiders after that whole quarterback carousel they had going on earlier in the season.
O'Connell's situation is a testament to the importance of perseverance. He didn't let being benched discourage him. He kept working, kept improving, and now he's getting another shot to prove himself.
It's a reminder that sometimes you have to take a step back to take 2 steps forward. And then there's Tim Boyle, the last resort option for the injury-ravaged Giants, sitting at the bottom of the list, at number 32.
Boyle's story is a stark reminder of the brutal reality of the NFL. Injuries can derail careers, and sometimes you're just thrown into situations you're not fully prepared for.
Yeah, it's gotta be tough for a guy like Boyle, who's probably been working hard behind the scenes, to suddenly be thrust into a starting role with a depleted team.
It really is.
Yeah.
But it's also a testament to his professionalism and his dedication to the game. He's stepping up and doing his best, even though the odds are stacked against him.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for players like him who embrace the challenge, no matter how difficult it may seem.
Yeah.
It really does. It takes a special kind of grit to survive in this league, especially when you're facing those kinds of obstacles.
No doubt about it. But shifting gears a bit, let's talk about the future of the quarterback position. This article highlights a fascinating trend: the emergence of a new generation of quarterbacks who are really challenging the established order.
You mean guys like Jordan Love, Michael Penix Jr., Caleb Williams, Bryce Young? It is exciting to see all this young talent coming into the league and making an impact right away.
And you're bringing a new level of athleticism and creativity to the position, and they're not afraid to take risks, push the boundaries of what's considered traditional quarterback play.
Yeah, it's like they're rewriting the playbook in real time. And speaking of rewriting the playbook, how about the resurgence of Aaron Rodgers with the Jets? Even though the team is struggling, he's still showing that he's got what it takes to be a top-tier quarterback.
Rodgers is a master of the mental game. He's able to read defenses, anticipate throws, and make adjustments at the line of scrimmage that most quarterbacks can only dream of.
He's like a chess grandmaster out there, just dissecting the defense move by move. And then you have Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh, proving that he's still got plenty left in the tank.
Wilson's success in Pittsburgh is a testament to his adaptability. He's seamlessly integrated himself into a new system, a new team culture, and he's thriving.
He's a true professional, always willing to put in the work and make the necessary adjustments. And it's definitely paying off for him and the Steelers. Now, as we wrap up this deep dive into the NFL quarterback power rankings, I'm curious to get your final thoughts on the quarterbacks who are on the rise and those who might be heading for a decline.
That's always a tough question.
Okay.
But based on what we've seen this season, I'd say quarterbacks like Jordan Love, Jaden Daniels, and C.J. Stroud, they're all showing promising signs of growth. And they have the potential to climb the rankings even further.
Okay, those are definitely names to watch in the coming years. What about some of the quarterbacks who have struggled this season? Do you think guys like Tua Tagovailoa and Brock Purdy can turn things around?
Well, it's all about consistency and growth. Tua needs to improve his decision-making under pressure, and Purdy needs to show that he can handle the mental and physical demands of being a starting quarterback in the NFL. If they can address those weaknesses, they still have a chance to succeed.
So it's a combination of talent, hard work, and the ability to adapt. That separates the great quarterbacks from the rest. And as we head into the final stretch of the season and playoffs, it's going to be fascinating to see which quarterbacks rise to the occasion and which ones fall short.
Absolutely. The NFL is a league of constant evolution, and the quarterback position is no exception. The competition is fierce, the stakes are high, and the storylines are always captivating.
Well said. This deep dive has been a wild ride, from the elite quarterbacks at the top of the rankings to the underdogs fighting for their futures. And I hope you, dear listener, are feeling like you've got a much deeper understanding of the NFL's quarterback landscape.
It's been a pleasure sharing these insights with you. And remember, knowledge is power. And the more we understand about this game, the more we could appreciate its complexities and its beauty.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Now go out there and dominate your next football conversation, armed with all this newfound quarterback knowledge. And hey, if you have your own stack of sources on any topic that's piqued your interest, send them our way. We're always up for the challenge of diving deep and bringing you the most fascinating insights. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep the conversation going.